Hey AfterBuzzers, you are watching the After Show for the family. Tonight we are going to be covering Season 1, Episode 7, All the Livelong Day. Stay tuned to break it all down with us.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Sunday night of our favorite show. Holy heck, we got so many answers tonight, which I am so ridiculously happy about. All of our predictions are basically kind of answered at this point, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Give or take.
I have one more prediction. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, yeah. I'm your host, April Whisenhant. You can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant. Where can they find y'all at?
Hey guys, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Abby Vega.
Hey guys, I'm Nadine Della Pelle, and you can find me at Nadine DP and the number 3.
Abby has the chat up, so make sure to join the live link. I just tweeted it. And let us know what you thought, because now we have so much information to go over. I don't even know where to start.
Information overload this episode.
But in a good way.
Yeah, in a great way.
Yeah. We needed it. It was an episode we needed. It was slower. It wasn't as oh my gosh, my heart is pounding out of my chest.
Well,
but
thankfully, because I aged 10 years last week. So
I couldn't handle another episode like that, I don't think, 2 weeks in a row.
No.
But this was good.
It was. We started off back in the front yard, or in the house, whatever, where Claire and Willa are talking/arguing because Claire says kind of what I was thinking / we were all thinking, you did this because of the election, blah, blah, blah. And Willa says that she didn't. And I kind of thought at that moment that she was lying, but after watching the episode now, I kind of think that she didn't just do it because of the election, which was surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad this episode I don't hate Willa as much anymore.
Yeah.
I was very anti-Willa leaving last episode especially, but I'm also happy that they picked up right where they left off last episode, that fight, because it was such a crucial part of the show, and seeing the clash between Claire and Willa, I'm very happy they picked up from there. But yeah, I mean, she didn't do it for the election, and she didn't do it at all for anything. It wasn't her fault, and so I'm happy we got to see that side of it.
Yeah, and I have to say that just the scene as a whole, that beginning scene, both actresses, Alison Pill and Joan Allen, I thought that they were amazing.
Oh, they killed it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can tell throughout the series so far that they're great actresses, but their emotions in that were so raw and real. I loved seeing that intense of a scene to open up.
Me too.
I loved it.
Yeah, and I mean the writing between trying to write for a mother and daughter dynamic, and at one point Willa goes, "Mom, I love you," and she goes, "I don't think that's true."
Oh, it's like a knife to the heart.
Wow, your mom telling you, that's just wow, that's how hurt she was.
Yeah,
you know?
Which of course she is, and I mean she thought that her son came back after 10 years, and to discover that it wasn't, or that it's not actually him, I mean, that's just crazy. And Willa says, right then, she says that she did it to try and fix everything because, the family was falling apart, and she still thinks it's her fault after all these years. But it's also kind of just like a cop-out. But, I don't know. She said in that scene, she said, "It's not your son, but your son's dead. This is the closest thing we have to him."
I thought it was weird that she kept trying to rationalize to Claire to think that that's okay.
Yeah.
I know this isn't Adam, but still tried to make it seem, but he's a boy the same age, trying to rationalize, thinking we can just keep pretending.
Yeah.
As if it was, she was starting to kind of believe that he was part of the family. Yeah. I don't know.
I think she kind of had to, though, because she's the one who really, concocted the plan for him. And so once he came back, I mean, she had to pretty much go with it.
But she could have not gone with it, too, in a sense. I mean, I think that, once it's there and she sees it, she's like, okay, I guess. Because she was on, the verge of yes or no if she was going to go through with it. And then when he just came back, she kind of was like, all right, I guess I'm going to go through with this.
I guess this will work.
I guess we'll go with what this plan is.
She could have easily been, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll get into it more, I'm sure.
Whenever that she said that about it's not your son, but it's the closest thing we have to him, I kept thinking, I'm like, okay, sure. So maybe this is a person that you have in your life, because even though he's not your family or your brother or son, he is still someone who spent 10 years with your son that you thought was dead. So maybe it's one of those things his adopted family, or someone who they just spend time with because of everything that he's gone through. But no, they just took it, the real way and said, we're going to make it, or Willa anyway, was like, oh, well, we'll just go with it. Actually, he took it that way. He's the one who's like, actually, we're just going to go with it.
I didn't see that coming. A little bit. Yeah, I didn't see that.
It was a little creepy.
Yeah, he was really creepy.
I thought when he had said that Adam said it was his fault, when Ben told Willa that Adam blames himself and doesn't blame Willa, and so she finally kind of got her closure in a sense when she started crying and realizing, okay, I thought that was gonna like let the guilt leave her and that she wouldn't really go through the plan, or like the fact that she was able to get closure by hearing those words from Adam, but yet still wouldn't give her mother or her father or her brother the chance to have their own closure with knowing that he actually passed away a week ago.
Yeah.
So that was so selfish.
It was very selfish.
So she just can be pretty selfish.
I started to like her more and more, and then it's still selfish, and it's like, give the rest of the family the closure you just got.
Exactly. Well, so that's how this episode is kind of set up, is that, and I loved how it was set up actually, is we start out 1 week before Adam returned. And so Adam is alive, Ben, they're together in the bunker. We see the man come, or actually it started off with
they were younger.
When he first got in there, when Doug first put Adam in the bunker, and he's trying to tell him, we learned that they call the man their friend, and they have like a newspaper, or they're pretending food is other food, just, stuff that you would think people do to kind of like get by and everything. Yeah. And it made me, so I've obviously thought that Adam / now Ben's character is, a little creepy. He learned some stuff from Doug. Yeah. But tonight I was like, oh, wait, this is like a good, not that he was a bad kid, obviously, but like this is a good person who's trying to help this little boy out who's in the same situation as he is. And I liked that we saw whenever they were really young them starting to dig in the bricks, because you remember when he got that key out of the bricks at the beginning, which we still don't know about.
What the key's for. Yeah.
I'm sure that'll come up, I'm sure, but I don't know, I liked that he kind of like took Adam underneath his wing, and even though he knew what was going to happen, he tried to make things better for him.
Yeah, when they were doing the flashback from 10 years ago when Adam had just arrived, and Ben, I thought it was very sweet, actually, that he was kind of trying to help him, take him under his wing. Yeah. But then the progression of it, it seems that Ben is way more manipulated by Ben. Yeah. And kind of delusional to what's actually happening, because you see...
Yeah, but we don't know how long was he there for.
Yeah, we don't know how long
prior to when Adam got in there.
We know that he's relatively the same age as Adam. So, but Adam was 8, right?
Yeah. So, but even a year being in there by yourself, even a day by yourself, that would mess me up so much. Right. But I think what I liked, seeing in the bunker, seeing, when they got older, them actually trying to dig out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I remember in one of the episodes when Danny asked Ben, fake Adam, why didn't you try to escape years ago? He goes, I did the first chance I got. And so it actually showed them literally trying to escape, trying to get out of there. They weren't just so brainwashed and comfortable down there. They were like, no, we need to go. Or at least Adam was saying that. Ben was a little bit more brainwashed.
Yeah, I thought Ben seemed super brainwashed.
I think he just thought that nothing was ever going to happen. After you're in a place for 10 years, obviously that's a long time, and when you have 0 opportunities, it's like he just learned to accept it, which because he would probably, you drive yourself crazy thinking oh, I can do this maybe one day. But Adam still had the sense to still have hope and everything. But he also, I don't feel that it was Ben being super a lot more brainwashed. I think that he was just okay, this is where I'm at.
Accepted his fate, sort
of. Which is really sad to see that him go through that.
I just thought of this, but another reason for the way he acted, maybe more content, was because, he said, who knows if he's lying or not, but he said he doesn't have anyone to go to.
Exactly.
So I guess it could be very different if you're someone down there knowing that you have your sister, your brother, and your parents out there, compared to someone who maybe thinks, hey, I have nowhere else to go anyway. Yeah. So they kind of accept it. So that could be another way of how they handled it differently.
And I just thought it was it just showed how tight of a bond they had together, obviously, was as soon as as soon as Adam died, as soon as it was confirmed, that's what lit the fire under his butt to be all right, I'm escaping today, tomorrow. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he immediately devised a plan as soon as that happened. He's I'm not living another day down here without Adam.
Right. It is just so crazy to me that we have the long flashback, and then we go to a week before Adam's return, and the real Adam is still alive, and he just gets sick. I really want to know more about how he died and like what Doug ended up doing with his body, because we all know Doug did not take him down to the hospital to see a nurse. Like, no, that didn't happen. So I really want to know. I don't know. Maybe that'll be how the show ends. More of a prediction, I guess. But
I was actually wondering about that, because if Adam, I'm getting them confused.
It's so hard now.
So if Adam really died and Doug took him somewhere, the body's got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's gonna come up. Do you think it's gonna?
Well, maybe the body is like in that bunker in his garage or
it
something.
could be.
oh yeah,
I don't know if you put it there. I don't know.
I'm like,
have it
smell
decomposed
and
or
weird
something.
things happening.
But he did say, because when Ben was asking about, like, well, where's that? Like, what happened? And Doug said, he goes, I did everything I could.
Yeah.
So,
do you believe that?
No.
But when he says I did everything I could, it means that he was the only one obviously giving care. He didn't go to anyone else to seek any help for this kid.
Yeah.
He probably like gave him some sort of antibiotics, like, oh,
What
hope
can
you
you
get
do?
better.
Like-
But I just want to know like what it was from. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe obviously he's been in a bunker for 10 years, so maybe some sort of infection. I'm sure there's like all kinds of nasty stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
in
It was
that bunker,
gross out
of
there.
course. So, but I don't know. I just kind of want to know. But I just think it's so sad, which maybe it would have been different, obviously, if he hadn't have died, because that is the reason why Ben ended up, being motivated about it. But I'm like, just a week before he died?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Or not even a week before. I think it was like 3 days before where he actually dies, which is just crazy. But then it wouldn't have happened though it did. So
everyone on chat is thinking that he's not really dead.
Okay, so we have to burst the bubble a little bit.
But this could be her. Do you think? Well, okay, she's gonna tell you, and then we'll get into it.
So this isn't. We have like a news and gossip section that we kind of sometimes do at the end of our after show, but this isn't necessarily news. But Jenna Bans, one of the creators, did an interview with TVGuide.com, and they flat out asked her, "Is Adam really dead?" Which is so funny because we all discussed it after the episode was over, because I'm like, I bet Adam's not dead.
I don't think so.
And the creator confirmed he is indeed dead.
But
so we can all
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
But
so we can get that idea out of our mind.
But on a side note, this is just.
Was she lying, maybe?
It could be.
Well, she better not
it could
be.
be a stunt, because that's just kind of like the Game of Thrones thing. Is Jon Snow dead? Shows.
But no one's
ever
confirmed
said
it.
Yes, they have.
Have they confirmed
They have.
it?
So many interviews. People are like, "Is Jon Snow dead?" To all the different actors on the show, and they're like, "He's dead." But I
have my own theories about that.
Yeah,
so.
that's another
I don't
show.
know.
That's
And this isn't a show where
maybe-
someone could potentially bring Adam back to life.
But maybe she's trying to stir the pot. We were saying,
Yeah,
publicity,
possibly.
PR is a
PR is
big
involved,
thing,
yeah.
But I feel
don't
like
know.
you can't she literally said, yes, Adam is dead.
I'm hoping he's not.
That seems pretty
I
on the
think-
nose, but
I
maybe
know.
not.
Also, if you're asked that question though, and you say, "Oh, I can't really talk about that," then it's like, "Oh, so he's alive,
Right.
And
That's
then
true.
There's no right way to
so if
handle
you
it.
just say, "Yeah, he's dead," then it gets. I don't know.
Maybe.
So we don't.
So we're still.
mean,
we also want Adam to
We
return.
want. I think we all just want him to be alive.
we want him to be alive.
But maybe he's been keeping him. I mean, it hasn't been that long since he got sick or whatever, but maybe he's just been keeping
That's
him
what someone
somewhere
said.
else,
Someone goes,
and-
"I believe Doug is keeping Adam somewhere else."
Well, maybe
That's what
he's in
Sarah
the
said.
maybe real Adam is actually alive, not dead body Adam. Real Adam's alive in the garage.
Maybe so.
I don't know, right?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Possible.
We don't know. It's
Because the
possible.
bunker's all taken over now. I don't know. These
Well,
are all
yeah, because they
predictions.
blew up the bunker.
Yeah,
and
the
did all kinds
bunker's
of
all
stuff.
gone.
Yeah.
So
Oh gosh, I don't even know. So we see
too
Doug
much.
going down into the bunker. He like throws a wooden ladder down, and he has these chains that they're supposed to put on
weird.
before, like literal shackles.
Yeah.
And I kept wondering though too. I'm like, where do you get this stuff? Like you can't just go to a Home Depot and be like, can I get a set of shackles?
I know.
Like,
Thrift store.
And how weird
Yeah,
Thrift
maybe.
shopping.
that just shows how
Craigslist.
in charge Doug was.
That makes
The
sense,
way
actually,
that he'd say bracelet, and
Yeah.
he would just put it on and then throw him the key.
Well, because I'm sure he probably
course.
hurt him if he didn't.
yeah.
Well, obviously,
you
you
saw
saw the
whips
scars.
and all that
yeah.
stuff.
But it was just so crazy to me.
I mean,
yeah.
Doug
It's
is
so awful.
Doug is pretty crazy.
I still
you
can't
have
believe it was
to.
actually Doug too.
Yeah, well, you can't believe
I
this
still
creepy
can't
man.
Oh, I
Creepy
know.
man actually did it. Well, you have to. I mean, if you're keeping two grown men locked down there, like they're 17 years old at
Right.
that point, Like, they can hurt you.
Oh, yeah, they can overpower him.
And they probably have,
easily.
they easily could have mental issues that you don't really see because you are the one that have messed them up this whole time, you know? That could
Ben
just
clearly
snap.
does.
Oh, yeah.
Now we know that, anyway.
He's a creep.
He's messed up.
Yeah.
But so he finally escapes just 3 days before Adam's return. They said Ben's return. And oh gosh, what are they saying in chat?
What are they saying?
Ron says we are sick.
We're sick
to identify with Willa.
Gotcha. Identifying with Willa.
I'm sorry.
Understanding where she's coming from. Oh, well, you
We're
have
being
to a little
empathetic?
bit. Yeah, we're being a little bit. You have to.
Yeah.
I'm saying like I understand where she where her mind goes rationalizing it. Not actually that I agree with what she did in any way, shape, or form, of course. She's a freak. But it's like you have to
put yourself in those
best
shoes.
like criminal psychologist. You have to think like, why did I used to want to be a criminal psychologist? You have to think like, why did this person do it, and put yourself in their mind. So
try to understand.
It's not crazy that she would come up with that rationalization.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that she
did.
Well, technically, she didn't end up going through with
we
it.
haven't gotten to that yet.
But then she did. You know what I mean?
So Ron, we're not sick. We're just empathizing.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, Ron. No kidding. Just kidding. Okay, so 3 days before Adam's return is when Ben actually ends up escaping, and the man comes down, and he puts the shackle on, and then he's been commenting over the past few days because Doug told Ben that Adam was in a bad way, and that's all he did. Whatever, it's all that he explained. So obviously he's upset and hasn't been eating. I'm thinking just because he's upset, but no, it's because he's formulated a little plan himself, and he is like wasting away, and so he's so thin that he's managed to like get this shackle off of his arm.
Yeah.
That was pretty disgusto. And Doug sees the place where all the bricks were missing and asks where they were, and he just knocks him upside the head. And only like a small little tussle. I mean, you would think that Doug would
beat him.
Right, would have gotten up sooner from that. But I guess a blow to the head with a shackle and bricks probably knock you out for a bit.
Yeah.
But he ended up getting away.
Yeah, well, I thought that Ben was going to at least do a few whacks to the head.
Yeah.
I would just like pound until he was dead.
Well, I was about to say, that's where like murder would probably
I had
enter
major
my mind.
anxiety during that escape.
I will murder you right now for everything.
You have been doing this to me?
But like the thing is too, like, the shackle, great idea, but he throws them the key. Like, is he really seeing, like, they could fake that they locked it too.
Exactly.
Which is,
So it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
it's a show, but
Doug
I
doesn't
mean,
seem like the smartest cookie in the box, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, like, easily, like, I feel like weeks before, years before, you could pretend that you locked it.
Bloop, bloop.
Yeah, like,
Well,
I
that's
didn't really
honestly
do it,
what I thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
saw him behind the back sneaking it out, but I thought he was just going to do the fake.
Yeah,
lie.
then I locked it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bring sound effects in.
Yeah.
That was scary. I have anxiety, Britain, because that was when he was trying to escape. I mean, at that point, I assumed that he was I knew the
Dog climbing up the ladder.
But it was kind of stressful.
It was.
Because he kept getting grips, and then, I don't know.
Even though you know he was.
Yeah, even though I knew at this point.
But he made it.
But I didn't know maybe.
That's great writing. That's great, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know
filmmaking.
maybe there was a first attempt that we didn't know
Oh, yeah.
about.
Failed attempt. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Is it valid? Yeah. See, I'm understanding where your logic is coming
Yes, but he gets away, thankfully. Well, maybe not thankfully.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, well, the magic of television. He sees a huge billboard with Claire Warren's face on it. And obviously after 10 years, he knows everything about Adam. Adam knows everything about, or knew everything about him. And the only thing that I was like, what? Is because he just shows up outside of their house.
Yeah.
Now, in this same scene, we see Willa running, and I'm like, oh, please don't make her, like, run into him on the street. But he gets to their house, which I wonder how he figured out where they lived.
Found that out, yeah.
But, I mean, Yellow Pages, I don't know.
I don't know, you can walk in somewhere. But I mean, it's just crazy that the first image he sees is her face when the only image he ever probably saw of anything really was the shirt that Adam was wearing that had her face on it.
Exactly. Maybe he probably just recognized the name too, though.
Yeah.
But, and then he goes to their house, and Willa, I forget, like, what he just said, I know Adam, I was in there. And they go, where did they go? To like a park at first?
No, they got food. He was eating chicken wings.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, I wrote that down.
Lisa's on the same page. How did he find the house?
Yeah.
We don't know, Lisa. We don't understand
There's
that
big
fully.
flashing lights that say mayor's house.
Yeah.
He just walks.
This way.
I guess it's easy to find a public figure, maybe. No, I feel like it'd be the opposite.
You stop at a store.
I don't know. I've
and just
Googled
ask.
some people before. But.
Yeah.
Girl.
But I don't think he had Google. I think he
No, well, he
walked
also
into a
didn't know what
convenient-
Google is.
I'm
either.
surprised no one
valid.
saw him still and saw this straggly kid and thought that was
he would
awesome.
just think that he was, I don't know, homeless or something.
I was going to say, the person who, like, almost hit him on the road, they didn't stop, but...
Would you stop, though? Like, I wouldn't stop. I'm
Not
sorry,
that late at night.
No, I'd be freaked out.
Yeah.
He didn't even try, though. He wasn't even like, help.
No, I think he was just disoriented, didn't know where he was.
Yeah,
I
like,
mean,
what are
valid
lights?
after 10 years or however long he was down there for.
Yeah. So Willa buys him the wings, and she asks him, like, where's your family? Why did you come here? And he says that he doesn't have a family, and that Adam's the only person that he knows, or knew, I guess. So Willa, she gets a hotel and toiletries for him. We see him, like, taking his first shower.
Yeah.
And I guess the question in my mind is, why would she not immediately go to her family or to the cops or whoever? But she doesn't. She just, because her mom has this big speech.
So it's always about that, you know?
Right. And she doesn't want her mom to discover that Adam was just alive a week ago.
Yeah.
So she just says, oh, let's cover it up and then we'll tell her tomorrow.
Yeah. Because that would kill her. But, I mean, but if you think about it, though, that gave Doug so much time to hide and to get everything together.
Right.
And, like, any hour, like, you know, that goes on without you searching or trying to figure out what happened.
Or to look for him. Like, I can't believe Ben was comfortable staying in that hotel room by himself.
Oh, my God.
I would have been horrified.
In regards to Ben telling her he doesn't have a family, too, I don't know how much I buy that.
You don't believe it? Uh-oh.
I don't believe it either.
There's
Really?
no way.
Well, I mean...
He clearly has a mother and a father who birthed him.
And he had to be somewhere. I mean, I guess we don't... I hope they get more into his kidnapping.
I think he has a family.
I do, too. I think so, too.
Well, the question...
I guess we'll talk about that. That's a prediction.
I'll bring a question to you guys. When Willa gave him 10 grand to go away, right? Where'd that money go?
Well, we see at the end, he pulled the money out.
A little bit of money.
True.
I don't think that was 10 grand worth of money.
He might have, like,
Maybe
taken a piece away and gave it all hundreds.
But seriously, like, that was not a lot of money, like, that he pulled out. That wasn't 10 grand worth of money.
He might have, like, given her part of it back but kept some. Or just maybe he was, like, saving over time.
I think
I'll talk about this in predictions.
Yeah, I have a prediction, too.
Yeah, okay.
Ooh, okay. I'm so intrigued by this. So, meanwhile, while Willa's kind of... or hasn't concocted a plan at this time, anyway, there's a scene where John tells Claire that he wants a divorce, which we knew, we've known for a long time that they were going through some really bad stuff. And that's Willa, I think at one point in the speech that Claire gives, it's all about family values and a stable family and how important that is. So this is where I started to think, like, political reasons again, because that's literally her platform, is about a stable family. And then there's John telling her that he wants a divorce and yada, 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 or he's been cheating for years. Obviously didn't tell her that, but she knew.
Yeah.
And Willa, even though she doesn't see him tell her that, she does see her mom very upset later at this, like, gala dinner type thing where she's speaking. And Willa is kind of her backbone. And seeing her mom speak about a stable family and about that being so important to her, that's when she kind of formulated this plan.
Yeah, you see the wheels start turning in her head.
She's like, family is important.
Yeah.
And my brother died. I don't know. So, I mean, it's still a crazy plan, but that's where she was
where
at.
it all came from. I'm so happy we learned how that, because it was just so confusing for so long. Okay, Willa, how did you meet Ben? Like, where did this? I'm so happy they answered these questions.
Yeah. Well, I liked also the scene where she was having, like, the visions of if Adam had actually returned, what would happen.
That was sad.
It was really sad.
Like the main motivation, because obviously we know she still feels 100% guilty.
Right.
So I thought that was really sad too.
Yeah.
In her mind, I think at this point, she truly thought this could help.
Yeah. And we see how it's not just about Claire's speech, obviously, but when she starts thinking about that stuff, we see how happy she is and how much she literally, like, looks like the guilt has just been wiped away from her. So, there's a lot of stuff going on in those little things.
Can we talk about the hotel room, though?
Yeah.
Isn't that the exact same hotel room, or it looked like, where the guy was shot
Maybe
a while
it's a
ago?
small town, only one hotel.
Why don't I remember that? Where the guy was shot?
When Nina
shot him.
Oh, yeah.
It was the exact same hotel room. and I don't know if that has any tie, or maybe it was just the same set, and I'm
Probably
just
the
thinking
same
about
set.
I'm just thinking about
Probably the
set
same-
design way too
Probably
much.
the same
Like,
set.
my fault, but I don't know if there's a connection.
Maybe
to
it's just like the cheapest hotel in town, and that's
and that
where.
room is the cheapest.
Also, this is what I thought is during the middle of the episode. Whenever she's like, "Oh well, we haven't got to this part yet. I'll say it whenever we got there." So it goes to one day before Adam returns, and she goes over this plan with him and says exactly, you know, like she wants him to be Adam. So she's going through and quizzing him and all this kind of stuff. And he's, you know, but he spent 10 years with him, so obviously he knows him well, but he's pretty much like got it down.
Yeah.
But all I can think is like, there's no way that you're going to pull it off. But anyway, and we see Willa, she has a Ziploc bag of what looks like a lock of her hair. So I'm assuming that this is what they would somehow use for a DNA sample or test, but it also doesn't make sense with what we know ended up happening.
I have a prediction about that later.
Yeah,
We'll discuss.
I was looking at my notes just now because I'm like, I know it doesn't skip right to there, but I remembered something weird happening. A weird thing. So after they're doing all of this planning, she ends up falling asleep, and it was just so weird to me to see them waking up in the bed together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, kind of weird. I don't know why I found it creepy, but I just found
Well,
it
they
creepy.
don't know each other.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
That's
obviously they
one
were like
thing.
up
Yeah.
late studying.
Or maybe she just felt a connection. They were studying up late, and she was a connection because he was the last person that saw her brother alive. You know?
Yeah.
And this is the part where I started to actually really feel bad for Ben, or obviously I have for a long time, but when she asked him what he's staring at, because he's just looking out the window, and he says, "I've never seen it, the morning." I mean, like, well, first of all, you've seen it before, unless he was born in the bunker.
Because someone said that, because they brought up the morning, and they go, "Did Doug have Ben since he was a newborn?"
Oh.
Is Ben Doug's child?
But who was the mother?
I don't think
I
it
don't
would be
know.
his child, because actually there
I
are
don't
a lot of
know.
sickos out there. I was going to say to
Yeah.
like sexually assault.
Well, maybe that's why he
Anyone,
doesn't
but your
have
own
a
child.
family.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't know that, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think Doug would tell him, "I'm your father."
Yeah. He doesn't
You know
look
what I
anything
mean?
like Doug either.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know.
So, the casting was off on that one.
But they did, just like you said, Nadine, while we were watching, the older Adam that they got to play really did kind of look like Danny.
Yeah.
And a lot of time casting directors, they try and make a point to make them look alike.
Yeah.
And they did. So I don't know.
And the voice was even very similar, too, and
Yeah.
stuff. It
That,
was
like, bro.
yeah, like,
What's up?
my name's Danny.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
hot.
we missed Danny tonight.
know.
We did see him asking
it was
his
kind of a
mom
good
or he didn't ask her for money, but he said he was creating a new app and he needed $1,000.
Yeah, and what was, to me, I felt almost, I could be thinking way too into this, but to me it seemed as though Claire was overly supportive in front of Willa, kind of because she was mad at Willa, because Willa seemed to have questions, because Claire didn't ask any questions about what the app does or anything, and Willa, you hear her go, "Well, what does the app do?" And
Right. I think she just wanted to just give him money to make something happen, or to kind of like get him out of her hair.
Yeah, it's kind of like she knows that he's an alcoholic, knows
Right.
what he's going to use it for, all this stuff, but she doesn't want to, just like with anything, she doesn't want to actually believe that it's true, and she wants to live this fake fantasy life that, he's not using this to go buy drugs and alcohol, he's actually going to go and start up an app.
Right.
Like, come on, she just wants to believe it, and her face after knows it, but she's just trying to make that perfect family.
Well, because he gets the check and is immediately like, "Okay, I gotta go.
Bye."
Peace."
Bye.
So
Deposit.
I think I read something that on the TV Guide article that said we're gonna learn more about Danny's app venture possibly next week. So this could be like a thing that we're
So it
gonna
was a
learn
real
about.
app, not like just drugs and alcohol.
Exactly. Well, maybe it was a drugs and alcohol app.
Slash. Okay, there you
Yes,
go.
we don't actually know. Okay, so after Willa has this plan, they have it all together. She's going to fix everything. She's all about fixing everything and making the family great again. She is at home and runs into her dad, and John says, like, we're going to get a divorce. And she's like, "No, please just wait another day." I'm like, "You're making it obvious.
Yeah.
Wait one more day." But he says, "No, like, Adam wasn't what made us fall apart. He was someone who was a happy person. He would be sad if we were still putting if he knew we were putting ourselves through this. And that's what makes Willa kind of question the plan, because she's like, well, if this isn't even going to help, then why would I do this? Because that was her, from what she said anyway, her entire motive. But whenever she goes to tell, or she takes Ben, to a bus station, and he's upset by it. He's like, why? I don't have any family. Why would you do this? And she just is basically like, you're not my brother. You can be someone else's. And this is where she gives him the $10,000, and she has clothes for him and everything, and just kind of leaves him in the dust at the bus station, which was really sad. But
see, someone was asking a question about this, which I had written in my notes, because I was confused by this too, is once she decided that she wasn't going to go on with this plan, why at that point does she just take him to the bus stop instead of going to the police? That's what someone asked, and I was thinking that too, because it's another her being super selfish, because at that point, if she knew she wasn't going to do this plan, at least, why would she not go tell her family about this kid who was with him for 10 years? If she had no interest with working with him anymore, why not give that clarification to everyone and let them feel that same resolution kind of that she got from knowing that he was with her brother for 10 years.
The only thing I could even slightly think would just be because she didn't want to blow everything up, basically.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was
like that.
It's Willa, girl. Come on.
She's crazy. But it was, the time where her mom was getting elected as mayor at this point. Or no, she knew that she was about to be governor.
Yeah, she's running for governor.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. I think she just didn't want to blow everything up. But I'm like, where did you get the $10,000 from?
Yeah. But it's also you're right.
I was thinking that too.
Girl. I don't know. They seem like they have a lot of money, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I feel like politicians usually do.
Yeah, somehow. But, gosh, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, no.
What was I going to say? I don't know. Keep going.
Okay,
I'll figure it out. I got the 10,000. It's like money
on your mind.
Money. So the next day, Willa is thinking that everything's going to be fine. They wake up, or she and Claire are having a lovely little conversation on the porch about that day, and we see her going to a press conference of some sort, and she says, or that's when we see from the beginning of the show where people start, Claire, what do you have to say about your son's return? And Willa, of course, is extremely shocked because she thought this kid was on a bus to Timbuktu by this point. And the entire family comes in. We go to the scene at the hospital where, we do see where they ask for the DNA test. And this is where I'm confused. Everyone seems confused by it. I don't know. I hope we get this answer, because where would... I don't get how the DNA test works.
Well, this is where I think the 10 grand comes in. He paid someone off to do something.
Oh, that's good.
So that's what I was going to predict. That he did something with that money to be able to get the DNA test to go in his favor.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's working with somebody because he really wanted to be a part of this family. Or now that Willa basically exiled him out, he's crazy or something, and he just wants to maybe now destroy Adam's family. Or who knows?
Yeah, because I for sure thought that Willa had done something with the DNA, but now that you find out that she tried to kill the plan, now it seems way more confusing, and I'm curious to them touching on it more.
Yeah, and the fact that he came back on his own, he wanted to come back. What's your motive to come back to the family that Willa doesn't want you there and stuff?
It's I almost think that it would be for the obvious reasons, because he doesn't have a family. I can't imagine being in a bunker for however long he was, and then coming out and you have, what do you do with your life? Yeah. So it's almost I can imagine, I think of that as the reason, but I think there's definitely got to be more to it, other than just him wanting a family or wanting a place to go.
Yeah, because it's not with the DNA that he took Willa's hair in that baggie and was here's my blonde hair. Here's my little blonde hair if you want to do DNA on this one.
I don't know.
She clearly didn't help him. And then it was also creepy when they were bringing him home and he goes and he grabs her hand as they're walking and smiles at her.
He was weird.
I was
he's
whoa.
So weird.
And then checks her out in the mirror, and now he's just creepy.
He learned a lot from Doug.
Oh my gosh.
On a side note too, we didn't touch on it much, but I love that they showed that original scene of them all finding out that Adam was found, because originally when you see Willa's reaction, you don't understand it.
Oh, right, because she seems so shocked.
But now she's like, what?
Whoa. We just thought she was a good actor.
Yeah,
we're wow, girl. She's go to Hollywood.
No, she just knew the entire time.
I love that they showed that because you think now seeing it, everything is so different.
It's so valid, yeah.
This other scene that kind of makes me think that does make me think that there's more to Ben returning as Adam, because whenever Willa she walks him up to Adam's bedroom and she calls him Ben twice, and he's like, "Stop calling me that. My name is Adam." But he looks at her like, "My name is Adam." It was
scary.
I thought it was so scary.
He's got a little more darkness to him.
I think he's dark.
Yeah, so why wouldn't she at that point say something then? Like, if you're terrified, like, or maybe she's not, but I mean, and he's gonna live under the same roof as you?
I know. Well, maybe.
I don't know.
We kind of like fully catch up and go to present day, and it's Claire just being upset again. She goes and buys like junk food and vodka, which I guess I would probably do the same.
Yeah,
right.
Falls asleep on a park bench.
Well, the bench is dedicated to Adam.
Yes,
at least.
Yeah.
You know?
And then this was also one of my favorite scenes of the episode when she walks back in, and I kept getting confused. I'm like, does he know that she knows?
I think he does.
He got suspicious whenever whenever Willa was back at the hospital, but he doesn't know technically.
Well, because he's like, where's Mom? Because normally she would be there right by his side as soon as she woke up.
I thought it was weird, too, that Willa goes, "I'm glad you didn't listen to me at the bus stop that day." Because I don't know.
Well, because I think she maybe wants him to know, like, I appreciate you doing this.
Or I don't know. Or she's trying to scare him or something.
Right.
Into making him all weirded out.
Yeah.
But I think it was weird when she got home and Claire walks down the stairs and Claire's just dressed in all black. Mm-hmm. And it was just like she's like in mourning of her life happening right now. Everything going on. And she's just staring. Where is it?
Yeah.
Like,
what do you guys think Claire was going to do?
I did not think that she was gonna do like the hug, the sinister / like kind of warm hug at the same time. I didn't think she was gonna just be like, "I know you're not Adam," but I really liked that scene though, how they just played it out of her just kind of slowly, him saying, "Hi, Mom," and he even says it with a little kind of like question in his voice. And what did she say back? I think she
welcome
says,
home.
Welcome home.
For a second, I thought she was maybe just call him out in front of everyone for a second. But then once they had this moment of staring, I go, it's gonna.
Yeah, it was like she had one of those two options.
Yeah.
It was either call him out, cause a whole scene, or you have to go and fully embrace him if you don't want Danny and John to know. So are they going to tell Danny and John?
I think so.
Like, if she was just like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Adam?" Like, they'd be like, "He just got out of the you're not going to hug him? You were so nurturing to him, and now you're not."
That's a good point.
I don't know.
We end the episode on him going back to the hotel, and this is where we see him. He like opens the light switch and gets money out of it. That I assume is part of that $10,000. But we don't know why. Obviously,
you guys, is the key to the motel room?
No, that was like an old key.
It can't be.
But that motel is so weird and old, though.
That everyone has access. Why would he have the key though down in the bunker?
I don't know, because that was before.
Yeah, that was before.
He wouldn't have.
I think what happened was that after Willa left him, he like needed a place to stay. Went back to the same place he knew where the motel was.
Yeah.
Came up with some plan. Paid people, did stuff, hid money, went on. There you go.
This is like a rap song.
Done.
Paid people, did stuff, hid money.
Went on.
Another career to add to the list for us. I don't know. I think we'll get that answer soon. Yeah. Probably. I hope so anyway.
Yeah.
The only thing we kind of like skipped over a little bit, which not much, Hank is we see his mom visit him in jail, which I guess is probably right before she passed away because he says she looks pale.
Yeah.
And he says like, if anything ever happens to me, just know it's not your fault that I'm in here. This is because of my sickness. And then he grabs a bag off a thing and tries to commit suicide, but he ends up stopping himself when he actually like starts to choke. But his reaction was so weird because he like laughed about it. But then like it's just the timing of it all is just crazy because that is the day before Adam returns.
Yeah.
It was like so many things were about to happen, like within days of each other, that if he didn't come back, then everything would have been so different. Yeah. You know?
I think that's why they showed that thing of Hank. No other reason, just to show that he almost did that.
He was so low, too.
Yeah. Poor Hank. Sorry, not poor Hank, you know. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so before we get into predictions, we have some news and gossip for everyone.
Yay!
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, in just a little over a week, we are going to have actress Floriana Lima in the studio to interview her. She of course plays Bridie, and we are so excited to have her here because everyone loves her character. We get so many comments on it, so I'm excited. Tweet us at any time, any questions you want us to ask her. Put it in the comments, on the link, all that grand stuff. But yeah, she'll be here. It says we're doing it on a special day. It'll be Tuesday the 19th. So everybody be sure to tune in for that, which will remind you, of course, 100%.
Oh, it's going to be so fun.
I know.
And she got to make out with Danny. Can we just talk about that?
First
question.
Yes.
So.
Who's the better kisser, Danny or Willa?
Yeah, right. She made out with Willa too.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, let's talk about some predictions.
Yeah.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Okay, so before we start, I want to read a comment from last week's episode that we got on YouTube from Heather Hayes. Shout out to Heather Hayes. Mm-hmm. She is basically just killing the game.
Killing the
predictions. Because remember, this is from last week. So a lot of the stuff she said we found out tonight, but I read it and I'm like, go Heather. She says, I predicted they were together in the bunker. I think that real Adam died and Ben escaped and contacted the family and they came up with this plan. Ben probably had a bad childhood and was looking for a new start by taking over as Adam.
So,
killing it.
On point.
Yeah,
Everything on point.
I just thought that was so funny because I'm like, literally,
exactly
she
right.
is genius and got it all right.
So leave another prediction and let us know for next week.
Yeah,
yes.
Then we'll have the answers.
Yeah, Miss Cleo.
Okay, what do y'all have?
Well, I think I said a bunch of mine with the whole $10,000 type scheme happening. I don't want Adam to be dead, so I'm kind of going to say he's not dead. So we'll just,
all right,
I'll say that, he's not dead, right?
We're not listening.
But yeah, I think that there's some type of scam now that Ben is involved with, and it's still something happening. It's either revenge that he wants against Willa for throwing him on the street, or just him trying to make the Warren family his family, and so he kind of bought his way into it. So I don't know. There's something to do with the missing money.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't 10 grand. I know 10 grand. That wasn't 10 grand, guys.
10G's a little thicker than
Come on.
I don't have very specific predictions, but I still am very adamant on the fact that Hank is more involved in something.
Yes.
And this episode was kind of hard to come up with new predictions just because it only focused on a small group of people that we kind of already see a lot. But I think, I don't know, I just know that it's a big conspiracy. I don't think it's just Ben coming back. I know that Willa had originally a part in it, but him coming back, I think someone else I don't know, I just think there's more people involved than just one kid doing this.
Yeah. It's
and
gotta
then
be.
Someone also said that Willa and Claire have something big up their sleeves, and I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
You can tell that they have something plotted.
Well, did y'all think at the end, by her accepting him, do you think that she did or is accepting him because of political reasons, or do you think there's something else?
Well, I think she's accepting for political reasons. She doesn't want her whole life to blow up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, well, what do we do now? I'm running on the
they've already
platform
gone
of family.
so far.
Yeah, I'm running on the platform of family, and so what else can we do? But to piggyback off what you were saying, maybe Hank and Ben are the two working together.
Maybe.
He was in jail.
No.
But maybe before.
Was he
went to jail?
still in jail when Ben? Oh yeah, he had. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Dun,
He technically would, or maybe Adam could have mentioned Hank.
Because remember, he went up and helped him paint, and he was like, "You can't be here right now. Leave me alone."
Right.
Remember when they were painting the
But that could just be because Hank really thought it was Adam.
Another reason I think Hank still has more involvement is because they haven't touched back on how he had Adam's glove. I don't know if that was just like an affection thing, because we knew that Hank kind of had
Right.
feelings for Adam. But I don't know, Hank, well, I could be wrong again, because I also thought creepy man Doug had nothing to do with it, because I thought it was way too obvious. But I'm still thinking there's more to Hank. I think we need to find out more about Hank.
Yes.
I don't know.
I concur. I definitely think he's more involved in something, or like he's not just a character that they're like, oh, this is the man who is in jail. I think they're gonna develop him a little more. So I definitely think he's involved in something else. But my predictions actually are pretty specific, I guess. I think that Ben for sure has a family.
Same.
I think he knows about them, actually. I don't know, like, if they're playing a part in any of this, I guess. But I think he definitely has a family. And then I also think that Claire is going to... I don't think she's going to tell people for a little while, but I think the cat's going to come out of the bag. Because I almost think of it as being, like, another booster for her campaign. Because even though they've they've gone on so long, it's not like she's been lying about it. She genuinely has thought that Adam is her son.
Yeah.
So if she goes on, or that Ben is her son, so if she goes on and starts to lie, then, I mean, it's one of those things that's like, it's gonna come out eventually. Then she'll look worse because she'll have to pretend like she wasn't lying, but it's better to just kind of reveal it. So I think it'll almost be like a boost to her campaign. Yeah. Or she'll think of it as that way.
Yeah, I can see that too. Her taking in this other... I don't know. For a second, like at the beginning of the episode, I thought, wow, Claire is genuinely so pissed that Willa did this. But then by the end, it's completely flipped around to her being...
Well, she had some Doritos and a bottle of vodka. That cures a lot of things.
She had a clear mind.
She's fine. Woke up in a park with children. She's good. They're all playing.
I think she's just had the time to think, like, okay, this is let's like really sit down and see, like, okay, this is what's happening and what's going to happen right now if we just say this. But then in the preview, we see that she has a lot more up her sleeve too, because where we think that, where it seems like she would never, throw John out or blow him up for cheating, it seems like she's gonna be doing that.
It seems like a big thing that's coming
herself, though.
Yeah.
Because
what if someone else finds out?
Well, I bet you he wants the divorce still or something. And then she's like, all right, well, I didn't do anything. I'm divorcing him because he cheated on me.
Yeah.
Bam.
All press is good press, so they say, right? I don't know. Okay, well, hopefully, I can already tell next week is going to be so crazy, which I'm pumped to be here for it, of course.
So pumped.
As always, y'all can find all of us at AfterBuzz TV. Be sure to download, like, comment. We definitely want to hear what you have to say. I'm April Whisenhant. You can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant. What about y'all?
Hey, I'm Abby Vega, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Abby Vega.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm Nadine Della Pelle, and you can find me at Nadine DP and the number 3.
Sweet. We'll see y'all next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.